What's up? What's going on? What's up, everybody? This is another political short. And what I want you guys to know regarding people in Washington, regarding our politicians in Washington, in Congress, the Senate, the House, I got a secret for you. You might know this, you might not, but I have a secret for you. Take a swig. They don't care about you. Did you get that? They don't give a damn about you, me, us. They don't care. So you see, they're playing this game, right? And some of them ain't playing it right. It's a game where somebody ends up winning, but we all end up losing. You have a Congress where people go, they have all these perks, and they don't do a darn thing. I'm not trying not to cuss, but I want to curse so bad because I'm just irritated. I just watched Senator Tim Scott's speech, and a lot of y'all are gonna disagree with this, but it's okay. I don't mind. I'm used to it. And I always like to preface my shorts by saying, particularly when I'm talking about Democrats, Republicans, that I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm right down the middle. I'm a moderate, independent, whatever you want to call me, Republican. I don't know. I pick the best from each side that pertains to my life, and I go with it. I don't care what the whole party believes. I believe in pro-choice. I think there should be a flat tax. I don't believe you should tax the rich higher than you tax everybody else. I think their percentage is going to be higher. Their percentage is going to still have them paying more in taxes than someone making less money anyway. That's how I feel, and that's okay. I think you should be able to marry who you want, sleep with who you want, do you. Be the ultimate freedom, but leave my funds alone. All right, so I like a little bit from each side, and there's a lot of other, I won't bore you guys with my views, but I will jump into this whole police reform bill that African-American Senator Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, he lost today on a vote. And I hear y'all already saying it was a watered down bill. And I did a political short on this last week. I talked about it. And what I told y'all was going to happen is exactly what happened. I told you so. So y'all want to say it's a watered down bill. Perhaps. But you know what? When you're not in power, like the Democrats are not in power right now in the Senate, you don't get everything you want. You just don't. That's not how the game is played. Just like over in the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are in charge. You think the Republicans are getting what they want over there? Absolutely not. Nancy Pelosi don't play that. She just is crazy and self-centered and angry as McConnell is in the Senate. So the game is, when you're not in power, you get what you can, in hopes that when you get in power, you make the necessary changes you need to make. Tim Scott said, he sat down with a Democrat, Schumer, and said, here's the bill, what do you think? Schumer said, there's 5 things wrong with this bill. And Tim Scott, even if he didn't necessarily agree with the stuff, he said, okay, well, we'll get 5 amendments. Amendment means to change, talk about changing, making changes. Let's discuss this and make these 5 changes you're talking about, right? And he said, okay. Republican, Tim Scott, black guy, said, okay. We get 5 amendments to address those things you're talking about. Then he sat down with some more people, and she didn't say their names, but I already know who it was. I'm a big fan of her, but she's pissing me off. Kamala Harris, future VP, perhaps, or Attorney General. And Cory Booker, black senator from New Jersey. Those are the only 2 black Democratic senators in right now, is Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. and Tim Scott is the only Republican black senator. So those three, I think they sat in the room. He won't say their names, but they sat in the room. And they said, 5 things? What is Schumer talking about? There's 20 things wrong with this bill. It's too watered down. We need to have this, we need to have this, we need to have that. And Tim Scott said, okay, we'll get 20 amendments. You guys have 20 amendments that we can address. We can talk about it. We can open dialogue and discuss it. 20 amendments. Amendment means change. We'll address these changes you want. And they told him, you won't be able to get 20 amendments. McConnell is not going to allow that. And he said, well, I'm going to talk to McConnell. And guess what he did? He talked to McConnell. And McConnell said, no, go for it. So he comes back to him. He said, McConnell said, we can do the 20 amendments. They get up and walk and tear their ass out the room. Why? Why they do that? Because they really don't want to do it. That's what I think. The way the game should be played, in my opinion, is take what you can get. Take the 20. You just said you wanted it. Do you want it or you not want it? Take that. Get as much as you can from those 20 amendments. And if you're really confident with that Biden is going to win in November, if you're really confident that the Democrats are going to take the Senate back, which in most cases, if he wins, they are, change it then. Just not too much. It's not far. Just a few months. So you can by this time next year, you can have what you want. Way before this time next year. That's the game. But what are they trying to do, in my opinion? And some of y'all may disagree, and that's fine. That's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. That's why nothing get done in Congress, because everybody disagrees. It's okay. We're not a monolith. We're not supposed to, but you're supposed to find a common ground, a gray area. You know what I think they want to do? You know what? I think they didn't want those amendments at all. They didn't think it was going to happen, first of all. But you know what? I didn't think they wanted those at all. I think they want to continue this election and be able to say that the Republicans are not playing ball with us. They don't want police reform. They don't feel a way about cops killing black men. They put a watered down bill in front of us. They didn't give us any say in it. The Republicans aren't for the people. When the truth is, they gave you 20 amendments. You can't be mad about that. So it's more of a political game than it is really trying to help us. So when I started this out and I said they don't give a damn about us, that's why. Neither side, because it just happens to be a Republican bill this time, but the same crap happens on the other side as well. Same thing is happening in the House. The Republicans may propose a bill in the House, and guess what? Nancy Pelosi may say, no, we're not looking at that. Let me get AOC or one of the Democrats to propose the same stuff, and we'll run with that. Because guess what? You have the right to do that. They run the House. Same thing on the Senate side. Kamala has a police bill. Some other Democrats probably didn't roll bills too, but they don't have to vote on those or look at them, because guess what? The Republicans are in control in the Senate. That's the game. But we don't vote heavily when it comes to Congress. All we worry about is the president. Who's the president? Who's the president? Who's the president? These roles are very, very important. I'm so frustrated. In the end, as I close, as preachers say in church, nothing's going to get done. We're going to be sitting here in 5 years talking about police reform. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about police reform. Only time something probably is going to happen is when either the Democrats or Republicans have both houses, the House and the Senate. Maybe something to get pushed through then. But hell, Obama wasn't able to get a whole lot done then for some odd reason. I'm not sure why. He had both the House and the Senate for the first 2 years. I don't know. I don't know. But that's the time when you should be able to get something done. There shouldn't be much opposition. So, anyway, that's all I got. I thought I was done, but I have to come back for a final thought. After watching the video again and then researching some things. So, in summation, the Democrats refuse to allow this piece of legislation, this bill, to be even debated on the Senate floor. Which is stupid. It's stupid because it gives the entire Senate a chance to see the bill and discuss it, debate, review, and come up with a final text, if you will, a final Senate bill. That doesn't make it law. Why does that not make it law? Because there's a whole House of Representatives over here that's run by the Democrats. And guess what? In order for a bill to be made law, both chambers have to have a similar bill introduced, which means that even if this Senate bill was voted on and Democrats and Republicans agreed on it, they have to still negotiate with the House of Representatives. So Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in charge over there have to draft the bill. They bring the bills together. They look at it and they see what's the same, what's different. The Senate bill, the House bill, how much difference is it? So what they do, they create a committee mixed up with some senators and some House of Representative Congress people, right? People from both sides. They get together in a committee and they discuss and try to find a common ground on the final text of this bill, these two bills that are going to merge into one piece of legislation. That makes sense? All right. Once the committee does that, it's still not law. Then they go to the floor and everybody votes. So the House, dominated by the Democrats, and the Republicans that are in the Senate, dominated by the, okay, let me start over. So once the committee decides on a text from the House companion bill and the Senate bill, and they decide how to merge it, make it to where everyone's happy somewhat. Now, everyone, Senate and the House, they all vote on the final text to send to the president to sign or veto. So I said all that to say there's so much more time for Democrats to get the stuff in it that they want. So what's the problem with bringing this to the Senate floor to discuss? Why would you be stopping it in the beginning stages? Nothing's gonna get done. Let it go to the Senate floor, debate it, vote against it if you don't get the amendments you want, on the Senate floor. And even if you don't get everything you want, Nancy Pelosi and her people and the Democrats are not going to introduce a bill. They're going to put the stuff you want in that bill. So it's really going to be up to that committee to come together and figure out, okay, what are we going to send to the president to either sign and make a law or veto? And even if Trump vetoes it, if it's something in there he don't like, all the Congress, if they're on the same page, they can get together. If they got two-thirds of a vote. Collectively, they can overrule his veto and it still becomes law. So I'm confused. I'm sorry, I just had to have a final thought on that. I'm just a little perturbed by it, y'all. This has been a Political Short.